This is the first in a series I might call Don't Blame Him. It's quite simple. I'll show you a little clip and you have to guess which one I'm talking about, because I'm sure most people will land at the same conclusion, but that's not an absolute given. So let's take a look at the clip and see what I'm talking about. So it's probably quite obvious from the outset who is at fault here, but let me know in the comments all the same. And I don't think anyone will disagree that the cyclist is in some quite extreme danger at that point there. If we just replay it from the point at which there's a very tight squeeze, this lorry looks like it's coming around the left-hand bend and looks like it's getting even closer to this cyclist, but obviously there's no collision and it's a non-event. But it could have been even more of a non-event had the cyclist taken note of this symbol here, which is, as I like to call it, a bit of a clue. Now, these signs are there for a reason. It's a bit like those signs that say, if you can't see my mirrors, I can't see you. Just like a phrase that I like to use if you're reversing a vehicle. If it's not going to hit it in the reflection, it's not going to hit it. So you can reverse safely knowing you're going to miss the obstacle as opposed to hit it. Now, this symbol here quite obviously warns people coming up on the left-hand side that there is a blind spot and the lorry can't see people on the left-hand side. Now, one argument might be that this lorry driver should really drive slowly, stop and take all measures to look down the left-hand side to make sure they're not mopping up any cyclists on the left-hand side. But to do that at all times is going to be somewhat impossible. I'm sure the driver is doing what they should do and keep a diligent lookout in that left-hand mirror, which are usually oversized so they can see the full length of the road so far as they possibly can, give or take the blind spots which are warned about on the back of the vehicle. However, the driver obviously can't see everything at all times, hence the sign that there's a blind spot. So there are some areas that the driver just cannot see. And so whilst I'm sure the driver's doing their level best at not hitting anyone in that blind spot, if, as it's shown here, the vehicle is at a bit of a standstill and this cyclist squeezes up alongside, the cyclist is probably riding into that blind spot, or at least through the blind spot, and it's entirely possible that the driver did not see them. So who do I think's to blame here? Well, quite frankly, I think the cyclist is to blame here. I hope you agree, because not least of which the blind spot says that this is a blind spot. You should take care. It's literally what it says. But it is incumbent upon all road users to take care of your own safety as well as that of other road users. And yes, cyclists are road users and they have a duty of care to other road users as well as their own. And as I say, they have to take at least the very basic precautions when riding around on the road, and riding alongside this huge lorry is probably not a sensible idea, and certainly something that I wouldn't do. Having done a fair amount of cycling myself, I wouldn't call myself a regular cyclist. I'm not a commuter cyclist. I enjoy cycling. I usually stick to the parks because when I started cycling regularly, I did get large vehicles come beside me and nearly wipe me out. So that was an enlightening experience, and I decided that a daily thing, it would not be for me. So this was the first episode of Don't Blame Him. Let me know in the comments if you got it right or you think I'm wrong for some reason. But quite obviously here, the cyclist should have held back. I'm pleased to say that nothing actually happened, but it could have been a total non-event had the cyclist taken just a little bit of precaution and waited the 30 seconds it would have taken for the lorry to get round the corner and not to squeeze between themselves and death. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you next time.